Hi, this is AJ with Trading Trainer, and I often get asked, can you generate a monthly income from trading stock options? You know, this is where it starts to get good whenever we start talking about how to make money with options trading. Of course you can. In fact, I like to group the strategies for options trading into two groups. One of them being generating income and the other one being wealth building. So with generating income, here's the key. The key is you must sell options, right? Because options, as you know, have an expiration date. They're good, just like milk. You know, after a certain point, it becomes sour. It becomes worthless. And what we do is to create a monthly income, we sell an option, and then as it gets older and older and older, it becomes worthless. So we make that money up front, and then the money we never have to pay it back, right? That's the idea. Now, options expire every month. Options are standardized investment vehicles. Every third Friday of the month, the options expire. So that means we have 12 opportunities a year in order to make a profit by simply selling an option and then allowing it to expire worthless. That's how you make a monthly income from trading options. Listen, it is a little bit more involved than that. So I'd like you to come to tradingtrainer.com for more tips, tricks, and strategies to make your trading practice better. Hey there, this is AJ with Trading Trainer, and I have a question that's constantly coming my way. It's, what's the difference between a call option and a put option? Put straightforward, a call option is where you lock in a buy price. A put option is where you lock in a sell price. Now, sometimes that's hard to wrap your head around, so let's go ahead and use some examples. With a call option, say for instance, I have a stock that's going up in price, all right? And I go ahead and get the call option. Let's just use an example of $100. I lock in the call option so I can buy the stock at $100. Now, if that stock goes up, say it's up at $130 today, I have that call option. I can buy it at $100 and then immediately sell it at the going price at $130. You see how you make money that way? Okay, now let's talk about the put option. It's on the flip side. This is where we lock in the selling price. All right, same example. I'm going to lock in a selling price of $100. Now, the stock is going to go down. If the stock goes down to, say, $70, now that I've got that contract in place where I've locked in the selling price, I can purchase it at the going rate, $70, and then sell it using the put option at $100. Do you see how you profit that way? Okay, let's compare. The call option, we profit if the stock goes up. The put option, we profit if the stock goes down. This is how in options we make money whether the market goes up or whether the market goes down. If you want more tips, tricks, and strategies, I want you to come visit me right now at tradingtrainer.com. That's tradingtrainer.com. See you there. Hi, this is AJ with Trading Trainer, and I've got a question that comes my way pretty often, and that is, do I need to own a stock in order to trade stock options? And the short answer is, no, you don't. Listen, an option is an individual, standardized, standalone instrument. Yes, it's related to the stock, but it is traded on its own exchange called an options exchange. But here's the key thing I want you to remember. An option is related to that underlying stock in price, but an option also, its premium price is a factor of how much time before it expires and also about how much volatility is in the market. Those are the three key variables. So the underlying stock price, the volatility in the market, and how much time before it expires. So keep that in mind when you're trading options, because even though you don't have to own the underlying stock, you do have to factor in its price. It's related. It's kind of a hybrid. It's an own individual instrument, but it's also related to the stock. Hope that answers your question. Hey, for more tips, tricks, and strategies, come visit me at tradingtrainer.com. That's tradingtrainer.com. Hey, this is AJ with Trading Trainer with another commonly asked question that comes my way, and that is, who decides or how do they decide when options are going to expire? Now, before we go down that path, let's talk about options being standardized contracts. That doesn't mean it's like a real estate option where two parties get together and decide on when this thing is going to expire and at what price it's going to be executed at. No, with a stock option, we're talking about set months and set days during the month and also set prices. So, for instance, when you have a May option or a June option or a July option, they always expire on the third Friday of the month. So the May option expires on the third Friday of May. June option, the third Friday of June, and so on and so forth. And then the strike prices, or the prices that they're exercised at, they are standardized as well. So how do we decide when they are expiring? Well, the first thing that happens is the company that issues the stock decides whether or not it's going to be an optionable stock. And if they decide, yes, this stock is going to be optional, they'll then decide which of the quarterly options will they choose. Will it be January, April, July, and October? Will it be February, May, August, and November? Or will it be March, June, September, and December? They'll pick one of those three. They create those options first. Then the next thing that happens is there's always the near-term option, which means whatever month we're in, if we're in May, if we're in June, there's always going to be a May option. There's always going to be a June option. Get it? So whatever month you're in, there'll always be an option for that month and the next month too. So you've got your quarterly options, you've got the near month, and you've got the month right after. So say, for instance, it's June, and the particular option out there is January, April, July, and October. We also will have the June and the July. Now, the July already exists, but the June and the July will be there. And then we have something called leaps. And leaps are options that are 1 year out. They always expire in January of the next year. And those are for your long-term investments. So again, just to sum it up, you've got your quarterly, you've got your near month and the month after, and you've got your leaps. And that's always going to be for every one of your options. Hey, that's all I've got for you on that question. If you want more tips, tricks, and trading strategies, please come visit me right now at tradingtrainer.com. Hey, this is AJ with Trading Trainer. Common question on everybody's mind is, how long is it going to take for me to become a trader? Like with any skill, and trading is a skill, it's going to take some time and some practice in order to get it right. Think about basketball, okay? When you want to become a basketball player, you get some coaching, but then you have to implement and practice. Another example is scuba diving. When you want to become a scuba diver, you don't just go get scuba lessons and automatically you're a scuba diver that can scuba dive anywhere. Or being a pilot. Get some pilot's license lessons and then you're automatically a pilot? I don't think so. Same thing with trading. All right, so what you want to do with being a trader is you want to get some very good education. You want to model somebody who's been successful because you want to follow in their footsteps. Then you want to implement the trading practice and then practice. And I want you to, it's not just practice makes perfect, it's perfect practice makes perfect. So you want to get some guidance where you're constantly being corrected incrementally and moving forward. And that takes some time. Now, it depends on how much time you plan to put into it. I've seen people become very good traders in less than 21 days. But the truth is in most of our schedules, in our busy life, it's going to take, 3 months, 6 months. I've seen people still working on it a year or 2 years later. It's going to depend on you. It's going to depend on your focus, and it's going to depend on how much you really want it. If we have the big enough why, the how doesn't make a difference. So how big is your why? It's very important for how long is it going to take to become a trader. Hey, for more tips, tricks, and strategies, listen, go to tradingtrainer.com. That's tradingtrainer.com. Go there now. Hi there, this is AJ with Trading Trainer, and I get asked all the time, how much money does it take to get into options trading? Well, let's do a little bit of math here. All right, a typical option costs between $5 to $10. Sometimes it goes more, sometimes it's a little bit less, but let's say $5 to $10. Options come in contracts, and most contracts, in fact, 95% of all the contracts out there contain 100 options. So if a single option costs between $5 and $10, it means you're going to need to spend $500 to $1,000 in order to buy a contract of options. Now, we're not going to spend our whole portfolio on a single trade. Usually we go ahead and spend anywhere from 5 to 10% of our portfolio, let's say 10% on a single trade. That means if our option contracts are costing $500 to $1,000 each, that means we need to have $10,000 in order to buy those. Anything less than $10,000 is going to limit the number of options we can get into. That means limit the number of opportunities. It actually turns out that there's a sweet spot, $20,000. Anything above $20,000 opens up all of the options to our portfolio. Anything less, and we have to start picking and choosing. Funny thing you should ask, there's actually an upper limit too, where liquidity on the options, where you start buying so many options that you move the market, and that's not okay either. That upper limit I found myself is at $400,000. A lot of us has something to look forward to, hitting that upper limit. So $20,000 to $400,000 is the sweet spot. I've seen people start with as little as $2,000 to $5,000, but that's how much money you need to get started in your trading. Listen, to get more tips and tricks, all you have to do is visit tradingtrainer.com. That's tradingtrainer.com. Thanks.